Hey, everybody, Jim Cummings here. And if Tigger were here, he'd say, thanks, everybody, for bouncing on in here and enjoying the show. But before we go, I want you to do me a small favor. Hit like, subscribe, and give us a thumbs up if you're enjoying the show. Now, speaking of enjoying the show, enjoy the show.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Toon'd with Jim Cummings. I am Brendan Dan of the Four Finger Discount Network, joined by producer Chris. How you doing, sir?
Hello, everybody.
The legendary Jim Cummings. How are you?
Meanwhile, back at the ranch, hello.
And today we are very lucky to be joined by the voice that saved Disney. She is Ariel. She is the lovely Jodi Benson. Jody, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. Thank you. The honor is ours.
Oh, well, we've been trying to do this for like the last 3 years, so we finally made it happen.
Finally got it fixed.
Crazy.
Well, you're a busy gal. We like that.
Well, and you're a busy guy, and I see you a lot while we're flying across the sky at various conventions.
It's a beautiful thing.
Events.
It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. Yes. And, you know, I had some pleasant surprises because I'm thinking, well, I know Jody. I know all this and that. And that. But I'm finding all these little gems. Like there was you were in Balto?
Yes.
Balto, the second and third one, I guess?
Yes.
Because I was in the first one, but I was the bad guy, so I got kicked off.
Oh, bad guy, you're gone.
Yeah. Yeah,
Balto 2 and 3. It's kind of like I sort of do all the 2s and 3s. Like I do all the sequels.
Yeah.
Lady and the Tramp, Part 2.
That's great. Oh,
people
I've done those.
You're like in Lady. Were you Lady in the original? I'm like, no. But
your mom wasn't old enough.
2s are fun.
Yeah, that's nice. Well, they did that for a good while. They were coming out with the direct-to-videos,
right?
And we didn't mind those a bit.
They were great
because people bought those.
We were thankful. We were thankful with those residual checks. It was good.
What you said, unbelievable. And one of my favorite things and I remember watching it and thinking, wait a minute, who is that? Wait a minute. Oh my gosh. Oh, that's Jody. Because you were in Barbie.
Yes.
That was, come on.
So fun. I mean, really just dropped from heaven for me. It was after Mermaid, and kind of got a call from the agent that just said, hey, Toy Story, here we go, Toy Story 2. Barbie wasn't in Toy Story 1 because Mattel at the time was like, no, we're not going to do a movie. We're not going to be in a Disney cartoon, Pixar cartoon. And then all of a sudden Toy Story took off, and then Mattel was like, wait a minute, I think we
hold on. Yeah.
So then, Barbie joined in. I did not audition for that. And so when I got to the studio, it was kind of like, what do you want me to do? And they're like, well, we're going to play with a box of Barbies. So that's what we did for the first hour. Is we just pulled out this box of Barbies, and all of us just started talking to each other, holding them and playing with them. And then they were like, that's it. We're gonna roll with that. And we just kind of started writing lines, and I'd throw something out, and then the directors would, and then we'd all just kind of like, it was play. We just played. Wow. It was really fun.
So you just improv tons of it.
Yeah, especially all of it.
You'd already voiced Barbie before that, though, right?
Well, yes, that's very funny that you even know that, because it's kind of you got to do a deep dive into the internet. But when the executives for Mattel, it was the female executive at the time, came to the studio while I was doing Toy Story 2, and I walked into the room and I met her, and she said, you don't understand. This is a really important day. This is the very first time that we have ever allowed Barbie to have a voice. And I just kind of had to look at her very kindly and say, I'm so sorry. I don't mean to be disrespectful at all, but I actually did the claymation Barbie workout video a couple years ago and gave Barbie her very, very first voice. So the Mattel executive didn't know that. You have to deep dive for that VHS. So she's workout. It's a workout Barbie.
So is this a takeoff from Jane Fonda's workout? Remember that? I'm showing my age. You were 5 years old or 3, but okay.
So silly, so silly. So yeah, so then the executive was kind of like, disheveled, I think, at the moment. And all of the Pixar and our staff, they didn't realize it either. They're like, so you've already voiced Barbie? You gave her first voice? I'm like, yeah, is that going to be a problem? And they're like, no, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. So after 2, then when 3 came out, Barbie became more than just tour guide Barbie. She became a real person and kind of the hero of the day with everything. So it was super fun. It was a lot of fun.
That is so cool. What an iconic character.
It's amazing how the universe works that way, in the sense that you voiced Barbie so long before that, and all of a sudden they just randomly picked you to do Barbie again.
I know. And I even asked when I got to work that day, the first day of the session, I was like, why are you hiring me? I didn't even audition for this. Well, we heard you as Ariel and we knew that Barbie was in there somewhere. I'm like, okay, all right.
And you go, you bet she is.
Yeah, that's right.
Barbie's here now, partner. Oh man.
So it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. And unfortunately, Michael Keaton was really, really sick. So we were supposed to record one day.
I was going to ask you about him.
And, I got to the lot and he was stepping out, I thought, on his break, and I was coming in. So I was really excited because we hadn't done any of our stuff together yet. I'd been by myself. I thought, this will be so much fun. And so I walk in and he looks at me and he's got a mask on. And this is obviously before mask time. And he's like, don't come near me. I'm very, very sick. I'm so sorry. I'm going home and I'm going to bed. And I was like, nice to meet you.
Oh, man.
And then he just walked out, and I never saw him again until our day of press. And then we kind of reintroduced myself. Hi, I'm Jody. I play Barbie. Hi.
Yeah.
And then we start acting, doing all your press stuff in the studio.
Oh,
as
yeah.
if you're best friends, and you've done this forever.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Silly.
That's when the real acting comes in.
Yeah, exactly.
Remember that one time when we weren't there? Me too. Yeah, I'm not there again.
Yes, and I had on these heels, and I did not realize that Michael was, a little
shorter
bit
than you,
than I was, which is not a problem at all. But I think when we were in the studio and we were doing all this press and publicity, I noticed that he was on his tiptoes a little bit. So I kind of took my shoes off and I kind of tried to squat down a little bit,
Yeah, my wife does that.
Shorter because I felt so bad. Yeah. So I was like, I could see that he was a little sensitive about needing to get next to me and then putting his arm around me and making sure that he was kind of pressing up on me, to just get that stature going.
Yeah.
I was very sensitive about that with him.
Well, that's what screwed up your collaboration with Prince, is from what I understand. It was the similar situation.
Oh my gosh, yes, we were very fun, but it was fun. It was great, great.
Good stuff. And you're out there on the convention circuit as well. So, and it's a beautiful thing.
It has been. I kind of held off on those for about 10 years because I homeschooled. We live in North Georgia. I'm up at the lake right now where I'm at. And I homeschooled both of the kids for 17 years. So, and now they are 23 and 25. So my girlfriend, Paige O'Hara, who plays the voice of Belle, she had started doing them, and she's like, come on. I'm like, no, I'm homeschooling and I'm working on the weekends. It's crazy. I just can't. And she goes, well, I think it'll be a really good thing for you to do when kids go off to college. This is going to be a great thing. And so I did. I did my first one in 2017. And I just did a handful that year. And they were a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. Just gone for the weekend. It was very helpful for our family financially during college years, which was wonderful. And then after COVID is when it got really crazy. So last year, it was 40 trips, I think, last year. And the year before that was 35. It was, yeah. So it was,
Floodgates are open.
really, really crazy, but lots and lots of fun. Just lovely, lovely, lovely fans, and I'm very thankful.
Yeah. Well, one of my favorite things is when we were at D23 a while back, and I just lucked out, and I was on there surrounded by princesses and royalty. I was like the cheeseburger in paradise.
We had fun.
And I had just enough connection to each of you to sneak into all the pictures. So it's like all these fabulous, wonderful actresses and me. I'm sitting there like it was fun.
We did that one convention with you, and I think we were down in Florida, and it was during the strike. And it was you with all 5 or 6 of us, I think.
Oh, yeah.
We had so much fun.
That's the one.
Like all the girls, and then Jim.
Yeah. It was like I was the original cheeseburger in paradise, I'm telling you.
It was fun.
That was good stuff.
Very fun. Now, when did you start with the company, Jim? I feel like we were around the same time.
Well, my very first job was for Dumbo Circus, which was Disney Channel. Okay. And that was before streaming and everything.
Right.
In fact, cable was brand new. So, and I played basically, well, I was Lionel the Lion because they couldn't have a life-size mouse. It was Timothy from Dumbo. Right. That's who I was.
Right. Yeah.
The little bitty guy. Yes. And I was Dumbo's pal.
Oh, so cute. So what year? What year was that when you? What was your hire date? I forgot.
Yeah, I want to say 84 and a half.
Yeah,
maybe something.
Because I think my hire date was 86, and I think my first studio date was 87. I feel like, yeah.
Nice,
very fun.
Wow, I know. What a
We've
beautiful
been around
ride.
a long time.
Yes, but I'd rather have a ton of birthdays than one funeral. So, see,
yes,
still going.
We're still going strong, and we're still thankful that we have the jobs, and
Oh, absolutely. And I was looking at your IMDb, and there are things that I did not know.
And me neither.
Crazy for you.
I don't know my own career. I don't know him until somebody says to look at IMDb, and they'll be like, "Did you do that?" I'm like, "I have no recollection. I don't remember."
Well, I bet you remember getting a Tony.
Well, I didn't get a Tony. I got nominated, and I do remember that night.
The internet says received.
That's okay.
Don't
the internet.
Yeah, you don't want to. Yeah, you don't want to. It says I won.
Liar.
It says I obliterated the competition. Yeah, I remember that. That was me.
I remember that.
Yes.
Yeah, I won an Oscar. It'd be like, she's in an Oscar-winning movie. I heard you won an Oscar.
Yeah.
No, my film did, but hey, I'm going to take it. I'm part of it.
Right. But it was Oscar the Grouch. That's the problem. See, the wrong Oscar.
The wrong one.
But the Helen Hayes Award, too, right? Was in there?
Yes. No, I think, did I win that or did I get
Yes,
nominated?
you did.
I don't think I won
wink,
it.
Wink, nudge, nudge. Wink, wink.
But yeah,
she won, everybody.
we could just tell you whatever we want. You have to believe it.
That's right.
But it was, Crazy for You was an incredible experience. Incredible. And to do that show 8 times a week with the Gershwin music and dancing my little tushy off every day. I loved it. I had so much fun. It was a wonderful, wonderful season. So, but after that show, my husband and I did another Broadway tour in Europe together, my one and only. But then it was time to get to LA and do full time with the studio and start a family. And, the seasons were perfect. Living in New York for 26 years was perfect. Moving to LA, having the kids there, living there for 8 years, 5 minutes from the studio was heaven. But then, once we were able to work and record from anywhere, and that kind of all changed in 2003, 4, and 5. And we could leave the studio and keep our jobs. We decided to move up here to North Georgia, to Lake Lanier, the base of the Blue Ridge Mountains, and kind of do a small town feel
Wow.
for our kids. And
That's beautiful.
got an airport, an hour away. We've got a studio here, but we have a sister studio for Disney. It's just about, 50 minutes away that I've been at for 19 years.
Wow.
And I've got my same engineer I've been with for 19 years, and he's great.
Oh, that's great.
So it's been really great. It's been
Wow.
great to raise the kids here.
Yeah. Right. Mars ain't the place to raise the kids. So you moved there instead. That's
Right.
wonderful. Good for you.
Yeah,
And
it's been fun.
and I didn't know that you had, I'm reading my notes here, and you're so
You
fascinating.
took notes about me, Jim?
I
You make
took
notes?
notes. I do. And let's see, we've got Smile and Welcome to the Club.
Gosh,
And I think we covered Helen Hayes Award, which is bloody awesome.
I didn't win.
Yes,
I
you
don't
did.
think I won. No.
Well, I'd say you won. And what are they going to do? Call us up? No, they can't do it.
That's right.
But I didn't know you had anything with Batman Beyond. Who were you?
I know.
That's a good one.
Yeah, it was fun. I got to be, I don't know, who was I? Aqua Girl? Something like that. She kind of had a blue face and white hair. But again, it's like during those times when you're jumping in on this and jumping in on that, I wouldn't remember. But then
Yeah.
people come to you at conventions or they come up, oh, could you please sign this? I'm like, am I in that? I mean, are you sure?
Yes. And they know.
Yeah,
They know.
They know.
They know.
And I don't. It's bad. But
Yeah.
again, too, that's during the time of having two babies at home and nursing and starting to homeschool, that my brain was just, I don't really remember a lot of those years
Yeah.
as far as work goes. I remember everything with the kids, but I would
Right.
just go down to Disney character voices. And that's when, Brian Monroe, who runs the ship now, Brian was answering phones and he was babysitting my kids for me while I was in the studio.
Oh, that's great.
So they had all the toys set up. So he's like, I've got the toys set up. I've got them. You run in, you run out. So he had both of my little ones while he was answering phones and entertaining.
Yeah.
About that. And now he's the big cheese for Disney character voices.
Wow. Yes.
We have a lot of laughs thinking about those days.
Oh, God, yeah. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, that's good stuff. I mean, those are all like golden years for me. I just, watching Disney in their own way, not that we're ever worried about them, but taking off in different directions. And, like with the park, and I get to do this crazy Hondo guy for the park. And there's all these opportunities that are there now that were never there before.
Right.
Not the least of which are these conventions.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
I love going there, and I'm sure you get the tear jerkers, the ones that just come up and I can't believe I'm talking to Ariel. Oh my God!
I keep a box of Kleenex right next to me. I have a lot of criers.
Yes.
I have a lot of criers.
I'm sure. There's no way.
Just a lot in their 30s and 40s, and then 2 or 3 generations now. Sometimes we'll have 4 generations of families that have grown up and, love Ariel, which is just so sweet. But, I'm just so thankful. I'm so thankful.
Yeah.
I know you are too. We've talked about this before, but, it's not a job. It's a big part of our life.
Yeah.
For people that meet you, that you are a part, excuse my pun, part of their world, but you really are part of their story. And the impact that these characters make on them is just mind-blowing.
I agree.
I know you have these same types of things, but I have a huge following in the LGBTQIA plus community where people find their voice and find their identity. So I have so many wonderful fans in that particular community, but also I have a huge community on the spectrum, huge community.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God bless.
And
yeah.
any type of any challenges.
Yes.
So, we have our quadriplegics, our paraplegics, our wheelchair friends. And with the autistic community, it blows my mind that they can relate to Ariel, who gave up her voice, but they have learned how to speak by watching our film. And they know every word more than I do.
Yes. I've had people say that.
So
Yeah.
it's just so heartwarming, but it's such a huge responsibility. And so when people say to me like, "Oh, aren't you tired of doing Ariel and singing this song every week? And aren't you tired of talking to people about this film?" I'm like, "No, because you have no clue as to what these characters mean to people, and the
Oh,
impact that they
yeah.
have in their life
Absolutely.
is huge. Like they find their identity, like their
Yeah.
value, and they find their voice. And those are the people and the stories that we all get to hear every weekend that really shake your world, and just you feel so thankful and so grateful.
Yeah. It fills me with gratitude, too, and which is a necessary component for happiness.
Yes.
There's no
Yes.
doubt about that. And
Right.
and when you hear these stories from the people that latchkey kids who had to come home and lock the door and run in, and they'll turn on Darkwing Duck or Chippendale
Yeah.
Rescue Rangers and they'll say, "Well, you kind of raised me. You were a protective aura around me because I could go to the 100-Acre Wood or St. Canard
Right.
and escape what was outside my door."
Absolutely.
And it's an honor. It's
It is.
truly an honor.
That's absolutely right. It's an honor. It's a blessing. It's a gift.
Yeah, it is
It's
a
a
blessing.
privilege. And
So true.
I know you're the same way I am, that we don't ever take it for granted.
No.
We really don't. It
can't.
matters. It matters to us.
Yes, it does. And their feelings mean everything.
Right.
You see those
right.
little faces light up.
Yes.
I just love it.
I have a question for you, Jody.
Sure.
Do you have a preference between acting on stage and voice acting?
No, I really don't. It's sort of like your children. Like you love all your children equally. I love every aspect of what I get to do. I love to be in the studio. I love to do concerts with symphonies. I love to do theater pieces. And now that my kids have grown and left home and have their own careers, I put my foot back in the water for musical theater about a year and a half ago, and just ignited that 8-year-old little girl inside of me about what my first love was, which is to be on stage, to do these characters. So I was able to do Gypsy with my daughter, playing my daughter. Oh, that was
my gosh.
Incredible. I think
That
we're the
was
first.
crazy.
I think we're the first real mother-daughter that have played Rose and Louise. I don't think there's another one that's ever done that. That was magical. We had such an amazing time. Then this year in Orlando, at the gorgeous Dr. Phillips Center at Steinmetz Hall, which is like the best sound system in the world, best place to sing in the world. Oh my goodness. I did Hello Dolly. So I did Dolly in that.
Really?
That was magical.
That
And then
was wonderful.
January and February, my daughter and I are going to touch on to Gypsy again and play mother-daughter again in New York. So I'm excited about that. It'll be fun. It'll be fun I'm just going to take advantage of these opportunities because I don't know if I'll ever have them again.
Yeah.
And as long as I'm healthy and I'm strong and I can still do what I need to do up on stage, that really is a lovely, lovely experience to pull out of the hat of my career that I hadn't done in over 20 years. I think to answer your question,
That's
they're
beautiful.
all equally enjoyable, fulfilling, and magical, and I don't have a favorite. Whatever I'm doing at the time is my favorite.
Yeah, naturally.
Yeah, people ask me that all the time.
I think that's how it is. Like when I'm in the studio and I'm in it and I'm all in, I'm having the time of my life, you know, and then I leave and then like I'm working on music for a concert in North Carolina and I can't wait. Can't wait to put on a gown and sing gorgeous music. And that's really different because you don't have a script and I just get to work with the audience and have a lot of fun. Feeding off of them, which is very different than going to do Gypsy or another musical.
So
where
it's
you're
like an improv sort of.
No, it's just when I do symphony concerts, I don't have a script and I just get to do whatever I want. So I have a song list,
Yes.
But talking in between with the audience is something I really
Right.
enjoy. You know, just kind
Yeah.
of filling them in, doing a little story, telling them about the song and what it means and my relationship to the particular song. But then again, you feed off of the audience live, and I love that. I love that part.
Well, that's what first. I think that's what draws everybody to this business, and as children or whenever you started. Because I was in plays as a little kid, and I thought, oh, well, this is, if I could do this well enough that somebody will pay me, okay, I'm in. You know, I don't want to go to law school.
Yeah.
I wanted to be an attorney up to like second grade, which is really weird. But
Well, I went to college for law. That's
Oh.
what I was studying, was pre-law.
wow,
And I had done an audition, this random audition, my freshman Christmas break, and the girl broke her ankle, and I flew out to LA and did a show, and that was that.
wow, yeah,
You know, I was going to be a lawyer. That was sort of my love. But you know, a different path opened up. I loved singing when I was little, and loved singing at church. That was so much fun. My sister and I sang together at church
Oh,
when
that's
I was
cool.
9, and just always had a love for that and theater. But it wasn't really until I got into college I was like, oh wow, I think I'm gonna check this out, see what
Yeah.
this is all about.
so true. Well, I've always said, you know, my nieces, nephews, whoever, if you make a list of things that you love doing so much, you do them for free all day, then do them so well that somebody will pay you. That's it.
Yeah.
You're there. That's as close as it gets to, you know, career and happiness and, you know, edification and the universe saying, okay, you could do that. You know, that's the way it felt like to me.
It's that sweet spot between your passion, your natural giftedness and your talents and your gifts that you're born with, and then being able to pay your bills.
That always
It's
a good
the
sign.
magical circle.
Yes.
You know, because
Yeah.
when I do master classes with college, high school and college kids, and that's the thing we kind of talk about. I said, you know, I think that you have to have a natural gift set. You have to have something inside of you naturally. It's very hard to learn how to sing. You can improve in singing,
Right.
and you can strengthen your singing. But if somebody is tone deaf and they say to me, I want to be a singer, it's really difficult. It's really, really difficult. So
What's your response in that situation,
what
hypothetically?
I say to them is that each person has a skill set, a natural giftedness towards some things, it can be many things, but unearthing and figuring out what that is and then honing that craft and really strengthening that craft, that's the gift. But what happens is we're in such a compare and compete society. Thanks to social media. Social media is great in so many amazing ways. And then in some other ways, it's not so great.
It's not.
But the compare and compete is so hard because we live what I call in an American Idol world, where you get your 15 minutes of fame and everybody's a star and everybody wants to be a star. But not everybody is naturally gifted to be able to sing or to act, or I'm not naturally gifted to be a CPA or a math teacher, but we want what other people are. It's like we want that. So when kids say to me, but I want to be a star, I want to be a singer, I want to be on Broadway. And I'll say, so tell me what your natural gift set is. Well, they'll be like, well, I can't really sing. I'm not really a good actor and my dancing stinks.
Oh, perfect.
So I kind of think, well, okay, that's
You're a producer.
triple threat in the other direction. So let's take a look at that.
Yeah.
But why do you want that? That's my question. It's like, why do you want something that you're not naturally going in that direction? And it's because so-and-so has it. That person is that. And that one, I'm like, there's where we have a problem. Because we want what somebody else has. And then we forget about who we are and figure out and unearth and really like excavate all these incredible gifts that you have inside of you. You know, you get to be your best version of you.
That's a great
You don't
point.
need to be me. There's already one of me. So
Yeah. No, that's good advice.
it's like
That's good
be your
advice.
best version of who you are. And that's challenging for kids, especially that they really want these dreams, and you want every kid to reach for their dreams and their goals and their wishes. Everybody, we want that. We want everybody to go for it. But I also think you have to have a natural skill set. You got to have something. You got to have something inside of you to build on.
Yeah.
So I was born with my voice. I came out of the womb with my voice. I can strengthen it, improve it, expand it.
And did you just walk around the house singing and everything? And
But I was born with my voice. It came in my package, you know? It just came with me.
Literally.
Just like other people who are natural artists or sculptors or people that are brilliant with numbers or science or investigative research, all these things that they're naturally gifted in. It's like, go on that, stick on that journey and see where that leads.
Can I play devil's advocate here?
Sure.
Because there's a lot of famous and, people in the media that don't necessarily have the most amazing skill set. It's not like they were the ultimate most talented person for that job. There's a lot of other factors that comes into becoming a star or, even becoming recognized. So maybe somebody who's not born with that package, that doesn't necessarily mean they can't be a star. So how do you
right.
bounce
I
back
know,
on that?
I totally hear what you say. For me, my question is, why do you want to be a star? See, I never wanted to be a star. I was very clear when I was 8 years old. I remember telling my mother, I want to be an actress. I want to sing, dance, and act. I want to be a working actress. I don't want to be famous. I don't want to be rich. And I don't need to be a star. I wanted to do what I wanted to do because I loved doing it. And it was like passion. Like I had to express myself this way or I was going to bust. That's the only way I could describe it.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
So that's the difference. When somebody says to me, and they say it often, I'm doing a master class in a couple weeks, and I'm sure one of them is going to say this to me. I want to be famous and I want to be a star. My question to you is why? Why?
That's a great point.
You need the validation. You want the applause. You want to feel better about yourself. Well, let me tell you something. That stardom, it doesn't last. And you can talk to stars. Stars are, most of them are kind of miserable.
Yeah, I agree.
I think they're kind of unhappy. I think they're kind of miserable. I really do.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say everybody, but I'm going to say I think there's a pretty good percentage of celebrity stars. If you ask them, I don't think they're happy. For me, it's kind of like trying to encourage a child. And I say child, they're under 22. They're all children, right? They're still kids. That frontal lobe for you boys didn't even close up until you were 25. So they're all kids to me. But that's the deeper issue that I want to look at. I want you to ask yourself, why do you want to be famous and be a star? Does that mean money in your pocket? Does it mean people are going to like you? You're going to get a date? What does that mean? So we kind of go a little bit deeper than just a regular masterclass. Let's talk about voice, because you kind of just want to encourage somebody to get down a path that brings fulfillment and purpose and joy. And wanting to share your gifts with others, whatever those gifts may be. You know?
Well said.
I don't know. It's just my thoughts.
No, that's perfect. That's good advice. And plus, if you're, if you do something that you enjoy, there's chances are that somebody else will.
Yeah.
So you maybe you could sell that. That's kind of what we're doing. Knock on wood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we still have our jobs, and we're so thankful.
Oh my gosh.
I wanted to ask you, Jody, I saw a video on YouTube this week. Have you ever seen the video of Howard Ashman directing you in the studio for Part of Your World?
Yeah.
Isn't it one of the most amazing videos ever?
It is. You know, I had not one but two opportunities to work with him. He was my director for Smile, my first leading role on Broadway. Not my first Broadway show, but my first starring role on Broadway. And he was my director and my lyricist, and he was just a genius. And then I booked Mermaid. When our show closed after 6 weeks, we got killed by Frank Rich of the New York Times. And it was Martin Hamlisch, and of course he had just done a chorus line. And our show was supposed to run forever. I mean, we were supposed to be in this show forever, and it was 6 weeks.
Dang.
And Howard was already doing Mermaid with Jeffrey Katzenberg, Michael Eisner, and Peter Schneider. He was already working with Ron and John, and he felt sorry for us. So he invited a handful of us girls to audition for Ariel. And as I say, on the concert stage, it gave me something to do on the way to the unemployment office, which it did.
Huh.
So I just went to this audition to have something to do because we were so depressed. So never in a million years would I get it. I'd never been behind a mic. I'd never done animation. I'd never done voiceover. I didn't know what I was doing. And like a year later, I get a call and I got it. And I couldn't believe it. I'm sorry, there's like a fly in here. But the saving grace for me was that Howard was going to be there. So when I walked in the first day, I just went straight to him. I said, Howard, I don't know why I got this job. I don't know how I got this job. And I am not qualified. I don't know what I'm doing. And he's like, Jody, I've got you.
Deep breath.
You're going to be fine. No, I'm not. I am freaking out. All of these people in the room, and of course we didn't know that, well, we knew that the animators had moved off the lot at that time on Flower Street in Glendale, and they were in their little temporary housing. I mean, things were rough. Things were real rough. And all of the executives were at our sessions. It was like, what is happening?
Really?
This is like intense. But I just told Howard, I don't know what I'm doing. And he's like, I've got you. I've got you. So that video is everything because he stood next to me for 2.5 weeks in every session in the studio booth with me, silent, off the mic. I never knew, they never picked up his breathing, nothing. I never had to do a pass again because he was standing right here, you know. But to have him, I mean, he fed me every line. And Ron and John, our directors, they let Howard take me. Ron and John were like, she's yours. You got her.
They're the greatest guys.
Direct her. Direct her. And they had no ego about it whatsoever. They'd come on the mic and say a few things, and then Howard would interpret it, and Howard would give me the note, and then I did it. So I was I just did everything that he told me to do. Wow. So I tell people, anything that you love about Ariel, and you love about the song, and you love about the character, you love Howard because that's him. I mean, he's Ariel. I just like imitated him and then just sort of like jumped on the back of what he had already created.
That's amazing.
So, you know, the legacy for me, like when people say, aren't you tired of singing Part of Your World every week? And I'm like, are you kidding?
No.
Every time I sing that song, I pay tribute to Howard. And I remind you all in the audience that Howard's legacy matters and it's important. And we need to remember this man pretty much saved the studio.
Yep.
He brought the Broadway musical and he insisted on bringing Alan Menken. That was the deal. That was a deal breaker. It's like Alan comes or this isn't happening. So he brings his partner with him, you know?
Yeah.
And they change animation. And we have our Renaissance and our second golden age of animation. And all the animators came back to the lot. I mean, it was just crazy times.
That's true. That's
crazy.
True. I love his line of intensity is better than enormous when he was directing you. I love that line.
Intensity is what?
And because I just kept singing like I was filling a Broadway theater. And he'd say, "You are not singing on the stage at the Luntfontein. We are not. This is it. You're singing right here. This is as far as you're going to sing.
Oh,
now you're going to speak. You're going to speak. I'm going to speak a song." He's like, "Yeah. You're going to whisper. You're going to whisper. We're going to try to whisper now." I'm like, "What are we doing?"
On which song? Which
Part of Your World. I speak it. I whisper it. I sing some notes. I don't
Really?
sing some notes. Some notes are flat. Some notes aren't great. But it was a crazy chaos that was perfect for what they wanted for Ariel.
That's interesting.
It was really
behind
fascinating.
the scenes here, folks.
It was a fascinating process. It was very, 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 very hard for me to transition from a live stage Broadway musical to a microphone. Oh my gosh. Yeah. And I'm Italian, so it was a lot of this.
Yeah.
And then it was a lot of, "Jody, we got to do that again. Honey, put your hands down. You can't hit the microphone." "Oh, did I hit the microphone? I'm sorry. Okay, I'll back away. Okay, we're going to have to tie your arms down if you don't."
Oh, jeez. I have a story like that with Carol Channing. She did a Chippendale Rescue Rangers, and I was Monterey Jack, and she was my girlfriend, Carol Channing. And she comes to the studio wearing just practically a drum set on each wrist. Like a trap set. There were cymbals and ratchets and just, all these beads and all that. And Warren says to her, the guy back at B&B, if you remember that, he said, "I'm sorry, Miss Channing, you can't move." She goes, "No, sweetie, I have to move. This is how I work. I have to be all over the place." And so she says, "But your blouse is very starched, and it's very, and he finally solved the wrist thing." She goes, "No problem." And she stands up and takes off her blouse. and there she stands with about 5 pounds of cotton under each strap. And she's going, "This is marvelous. This is great. This is pure freedom." And I remember looking up at Warren, the engineer, because he brought his little video camera in to take some, and he just looks at it and looks at her and puts it down. Said,
He's like, "Oh."
Yeah, I better not do that.
Yeah, better not do that. Well, the guys had they had like a little blackmail on me. They had. Uh-oh. I don't think you can say that word. I'm sorry, that's not appropriate. But they had something on me, and towards the end of the sessions, I was I don't know, I was doing something, and they were like, "Just remember, we have a burp track on you, Jody. We have a burp track." And I'm like, "You have a what?" They had been recording all of my burps. I had a lot of burping problems.
Everybody
because
does.
I take too much air in when I was singing, and then I wouldn't expel it correctly, and then this huge burp would come out. What I thought was in between each take. Needless to say, they kept it running. So that's somewhere at Disney.
It's available as a special feature on the DVD. I'm sure.
Yes.
Sure. I'm thinking, yeah. I don't know where that is, but it's somewhere. I'm sure Howard Green could find it. He can.
That's true. That's true. He would know, wouldn't he?
He would.
Oh my God, that's funny. Oh my gosh. Well, I'm sure there's. I was Taz on the Tasmania show, and he always had to burp, and so we had a signal because I can't really do a monstrous burp on command.
Yeah,
I just can't do that. Yeah. So we had a signal, and I was sitting there, and I was sipping my Coke, drinking. Okay, a little more bubble. Oh, here comes a good one. And I go like this, and everybody shuts up, and only my mic's on, and just some thunderous, and I go, okay.
Yeah, but those are good ones, and you want those because those are the real ones,
Yeah.
Because then when they say, "Okay, now we're going to do," I'm like, "Well, I can't do it like that. This just happens."
Maurice LaMarche, he's got a fake burp that he can do on command, and it sounds like an earthquake.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm jealous.
It shows up on the sphincter scale, I'm pretty sure. So it's not a pretty sight. You don't want to look at him while he's doing
Not pretty.
it. But it's pretty damn funny. Oh,
That is
man.
good.
Oh, man.
It's good.
And, I was reading, too, that did we talk about Batman Beyond
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
and Lady and the Tramp?
Yes, Lady and the Tramp was super. That was funny because Rick Dempsey at the time, he was in charge of Disney character voices. So when that came out, when this audition came out, my agent had called and said, could Jodi audition for Lady? And they're like, oh no, Jodi's Ariel, and Jodi's going to be Ariel, and that's great. And my agent was like, well, I think she can do other stuff.
It's okay.
And they're like, no. So I went into the studio without anybody knowing, and just me and my engineer.
Good.
And my agent, she knew. And I laid down a lady sound-alike to Barbara Luddy, like, I don't know, maybe a dozen lines and some singing or something. Maybe I did something else. Yeah, I think I did some singing as well. And so my agent sent that anonymously without a name attached to it. And she was very sneaky about it and just said, I've got this client, kind of new, and just take a listen. And of course they were like, oh, well, that's like a exact match. So yeah, that sounds good. Let's bring her in. And then she told them, and they were like, oh, you got us.
Yeah.
We laughed. So yeah, it was kind of like against what they had wanted. But then it was fun. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, but it was what you wanted, so that's good.
Well, I just said, I just want to throw it out there and just put me in the pot, mix it up and see what happens. I mean, if it's the right match, then that's great. If it's not, then no big deal. But let me just throw it out. But they were
No
like,
harm, no foul.
No. That's Ariel. She's Ariel.
Yes.
So that was really fun. That was fun to do something that was different,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I know I've lost maybe one or two jobs because, no, he's a Disney guy. Oh, okay. I mean, there are worse things to be, right?
Right.
Yeah, I'll take that every time.
Yeah.
If that's a flaw, okay.
Yes. If that's a negative, I'll take it. I can live with that.
Yeah, amen.
Hey, Jody, you were touching on earlier how Little Mermaid essentially saved Disney, the animation side of things. And you've talked about how you were very relaxed during it because, I know you said the suits were watching, but you said you didn't realize how much pressure was put on the film. Do you think they deliberately held that information from you so they could get the Ariel that they wanted? Or do you think you still would have been able to deliver what they wanted had you known that pressure was there?
That's interesting. You know what? I don't really know the answer to that. I think they kept everything pretty hush-hush from the cast. But again, we were going to be the way that kind of Walt had designed it, which was we would remain anonymous. No one was going to know who we were. When the VHS would come out, you could freeze the frame, but it's just rolling the credits. So we were told that up front. So both Sam and I, Sam Wright, who played Sebastian, we were both doing a Broadway show while we were recording. He was afraid to fly, so he had to train back and forth, but I would fly back and forth. So we never told anybody that we were doing it. And everything was just going to be sort of quiet and hidden and no one would know. And that's fine. And you just go back and do your Broadway show. So I never talked about it or anything. And I think that was kind of the feeling when we were there. When I looked around and saw all these people, I didn't know what that meant because I'd never done it before. So no one really said anything to me about this kind of pressure. I did not really know anything about that. I did think it was interesting that my animators were not on the lot because I knew they used to be and they were here now. And I thought, I kind of knew about those other films that were right in front of ours, that things were a little bit challenging, but I had no idea that everything was riding on this film. So they did a nice job of not expressing that to us. which I think was the best way to handle it.
Smart, yeah,
Especially somebody like me who was so
you
scared
don't
and
need
so
the grief.
frightened. I didn't need anything more than I got to try to do this job that I don't feel qualified for. So I think, if anybody would have said something, I think Howard would have kind of stepped in to say, we gotta focus on, we gotta get this job done, with her. We don't need any of this other stuff going on. So, and that was just so great to have him there. It was just so great. I'm so thankful.
As someone who didn't want fame, how did you handle suddenly having it?
Well, it was pretty weird because we were not expecting it. And all of a sudden in September, I got a call from my agent going, "You're going on a press tour." I'm like, "A what?" And they're like, "Yeah, you're going on a press tour. You're doing 22 cities in 20 days. So get packed." I'm like, "To do what?" And they're like, to advertise the film. I'm like, wait. So they're going to tell them who I am? Yeah, they're going a whole different way. They're going a whole different way. They're going to reveal who you are. And I was like, whoa, okay. Yeah, that was a big turn of events. That was like a big turn to the left that I had no idea.
Yeah.
So life changed very quickly. And when that film came out, it was like crazy town at that point. And again, none of us were expecting it. It wasn't part of the plan at all. It was all lovely, lovely, lovely surprises, but it was a little bit scary. It was a little bit scary because I thought, what's my life like now? And I'm in New York and I'm doing theater. Now what's happening out here? And people are asking to do these things. What's happening? So it was a big shift. That's for sure. But wonderful, all great stuff. I mean, it was so magical and so exciting, but quite startling, especially when you weren't prepared for it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, you're prepared now. That's for sure. Next. That's wonderful. And I'm happy to say that I got to be your dad.
I know.
In the third one.
I know.
All right, I have to say it. Ariel! Okay, I feel better now.
That was perfect.
I just had to get that out of me.
It's so wonderful. Yes, you're my dad. Well, I can't really, should I say that? You're my daddy. That sounds
Yeah.
That doesn't sound nice.
Yeah. But I like the shoulder input there. That helped. That helped sell it. You're my daddy. Oh, okay. Yeah, that works.
Just to clarify, everybody, he is King Triton now.
Yes, that's right.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Yes, that's really sweet though. Boy, Ken Mars, he was so scary. He was so nice and so sweet, just like Pat.
Couldn't have been a nicer guy. Yeah.
So nice, so sweet, laughing, makes you laugh all the time. And Pat would make me laugh all the time. But then we were recording together with plexiglass. Because of Howard, we did our whole experience like a Broadway show. So we all did a big read through together. We did a sing through together. And then we started recording together with plexiglass between us, which I've never gotten to do since. I've been by myself ever since that movie. But to be able to record together. And both Ken and Pat, so funny, so nice, so jovial, so loving. When they get behind the microphone, oh my gosh, he made me cry. He was so scary. And Pat was frightening. And just, oh my gosh. And then for my character, Vanessa, where I become her, and she had to teach me how to do her cackle, and I had to imitate her. We had so much fun. But they both were very scary when the mics were on. And then the mic would be off and they'd be like, ah! And I'd be like, ah! Both of them.
Oh, wow.
He's like, I made you cry. I'm like, yes, you made me cry. You made me really cry. You screamed.
Yeah. Don't do that again.
I know. But they were both so sweet. Both
so sweet.
people.
Yes. Yeah. I remember, I think it was Alan Venkman, right? And, or no, wait. Am I saying his name?
Menken.
Venkman. That's the guy from the Ghostbusters, for God's sake. Never mind. But
that's his twin brother.
But I always love when my character gets to sing. It just kicks it up like way notches for me.
Well, you're an amazing singer. You're an amazing
bless you.
vocalist, of course,
Well,
and
you know,
a man of a million voices.
I'll do it
But
till the
not
next
only
guy
a
gets
man
here.
of a million voices is that you can sing on top of that in all of those variety of characters, which is so amazing.
Yeah,
And
well,
so
thank
much
you.
fun.
But that was one of my favorite things about Pocahontas. I wasn't even really in the movie, but I just sang for I was Powhatan. As the river cuts its path, and it was such a beautiful song, and I'm sure you're the same. If there's all of a sudden, there's a song you have to sing, and it's like, oh, okay, I'm in.
Love it.
Please, yeah. And they Randy Newman ended up writing a song for Princess and the Frog when he heard that Ray sang.
Good.
And
That's so
and that
fun.
just I don't think I've ever spoken about that, but that was good times any. But it was just so cool. Yeah.
That's so special.
Yeah.
Yay. I love it.
Good stuff. Have you ever worked with Randy Newman?
I have not. He was on Toy Story 1, 2, and 3, I think.
Yeah.
But I only saw him at the opening carpet
premieres,
party.
Yeah, you've got
We didn't
a
have any
friend
direct-
in me.
Any
Yeah,
relationship
gotcha.
giving to me, but I did get to meet him at the opening.
Oh, well, that's good. Great guy.
Yeah. It was fun.
Crazy.
I think the importance of that Barbie performance too was that you didn't mock Barbie either.
Right. Yeah, that was super important. It was really important to me, but it was also important to the team that we don't make fun of her, and that she is something more than a plastic figure. And that's why, she's super smart. She's really smart. And I love that we got to delve into that in number 3. We got to delve into her brilliance and the plan that she comes up with. And, so I loved that we could kind of take her in a different way. It was really a great challenge, I think, to tackle that character and give her some depth and give her some substance, give her a lot of value. It was fun in the studio though, because of her restrictions, her physical restrictions, especially with her arms, that, I made sure while I was recording, I always stand up. I'm always impressed when people can sit down when they record. I can't. I have to stand up, and because of, I guess, of theater background, I've got to physically act everything out, and in reality for me. So yes, everything was definitely locked and loaded with the arms.
Yes.
I don't know. It just kind of helped me to sort of get into her skin and kind of figure out who she is. But
so to speak.
I do love that we were able to show her smart, wonderful, brilliant brain.
And rightly so.
But Jim, you're the same. You become the character when you voice them too.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I don't know any other way.
I don't either. I don't think there's another way to make them real.
To make them real.
Because otherwise you're just reciting lines.
Right.
And it's funny because like back then we didn't have we had Walkmans. There'd be Walkmans of the animators that'd be recording us, and maybe some video cameras and things. But of course now it's so high tech with everything that, they want to videotape every session and every Zoom and every this and every that. And I'm like, yeah, that's really great. But, I'm kind of doing some crazy stuff,
Yeah.
it kind of takes away, like Carol was saying, is that you feel very, very free in the studio, much more so than you do on stage when people are staring at you. So when you're in the studio, and I know you feel the same way, I kind of let it all go. I let it all go, and I don't really stop and think about what a fool I look like. I'm looking ridiculous. I'm making weird faces, and I'm doing weird contortions and this and that. But it's where I got to go to make it happen. And every once in a while, I'll be like, dang it, this is all being recorded. This is all visually being seen. Because I do a lot of this with my eyes closed. And I probably just look like I look weird.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about that.
Try not to think about like,
No.
gee whiz, what are you doing with all that tape? What are you doing with all that video on me? Because it's not pretty. It's definitely not pretty. Not looking good.
I remember they took video of me in Princess and the Frog, and I was playing Ray, and I was thinking, please tell me you didn't design him to look like me. Because I love him. Not the best looking guy on the block. So it's like, please tell me you use some imagination. That can't just... Ouch.
But I think, it's kind of like being a kid in a candy store or a kid in a sandbox where you sort of have to remove everybody else from the equation. Mm-hmm. I can't really think about all the people, especially during Mermaid, all the people behind the glass. Because the second you think about that, it changes your performance and you start to edit.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, ooh, you change. As opposed to when Howard's just like, don't look at them. Don't think about them behind the glass. They're not even there. We're going to turn the lights down. We're going to turn the lights down. You're not even going to be able to see that. I'm like, okay, I think that's a good idea. I think just make it black. That'll be great. Then I don't think about them all staring at me. And then I start to change my performance, because I'm feeling awkward.
I've noted that as well. And oftentimes, if you're doing a phone patch or something over, like we're doing here today, there'll be just an engineer in there in the recording booth. And that's fine, which is not a problem. But then I've noticed that when there's like 2 or 3 or once there's like 5 people in there, they turn into an audience. Now you're an audience. You're not just people in the booth. Now, okay, I'm coming for you. Then I really perform, and I realized that years and years ago, and so it doesn't bother me. The more people, the better, because I think it ups the ante for me. It's just now there's someone to perform for.
Right. No, that's good. That's really good. I think I start getting a little bit focused on myself, realizing how silly I look.
Oh, yeah. Well, see, I already look pre-silly, so I don't have that problem. Of course I look silly. I look silly. Did I look silly today? Yes. Yeah. Because you look silly.
when you're doing, when it gets to, okay, now it's time for efforts, and now it's time for giggles and laughs and sighs and screams and yells. I have to act them all out. I can't just sit at the stool and, and put up this whole thing. I've got to be up, and I've got to be running, and I've got to have this la 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 and do the whole thing. And then I'll be finished, and I'll hear them all laughing behind the glass. I'm like, you guys, you're laughing.
Yeah.
You're laughing at me. You're not laughing with me. You're laughing at me.
Because, well, one of my favorites, guys like that was in the studio, I won't say who he played or his name because I won't. But it was the Addams Family when I was playing Lurch because of my height. He would do a line, and he was supposed to be trepidatious and scared, very frightened. So he'd go, "Oh no," and then press himself up against the wall. And he would go through these horrible grimaces and faces. And, the great Gordon Hunt, God rest his soul, from Hanna-Barbera, he pressed down on the talkback and he says, "Now, we can't hear you doing that, right?" And he's going, oh yeah. Yeah, so, give us a little something while you're cringing. Give us a cringing sound.
Give us something on the microphone.
Yes, yeah. It's just, but you could tell, a stage actor.
Right.
Lots of face. Lots of face.
Lots of face going on.
Yeah, lots of face going on. So are you off and running these days? I mean, are you still every weekend or every other weekend?
Yeah. The next 4 weekends.
Should we be looking for things?
The next 4 weekends. Let's see where I'm heading. I I think I'm going up to Winnipeg for a convention on Friday. And then I'm heading to LA to do some fun little things for our 35th anniversary of The Little Mermaid, which is crazy to think about. 35 years.
35 years.
Then I'm off to North Carolina that next weekend to do a concert. And I've hired my daughter to come and be my guest artist. So I'm so excited we get to do a concert together.
That's wonderful.
We did one at Epcot a couple weekends ago, and we had so much fun. Oh. And I asked her, do you think you could come back? And she's like, I can. So she's going to fly down and meet me in North Carolina for a concert. That's in Greensboro on November 9th. And then I'm back to LA for, Richard Sherman's memorial service.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I've been invited to sing Feed the Birds, which the last time I sang that song was with him at the piano. So I'm very honored to get to participate in his memorial service.
Yeah.
And then...
I'll see you there.
Oh, good. I'll see you there. Yeah. And then San Francisco for the Thanksgiving Comic-Con Fan Expo.
Oh, yeah.
Are you going to San Fran?
I don't know. I don't have my...
I don't remember who's all going, to be honest with you. I didn't even look at the list.
I don't think so.
And then one of my favorite things to do with the company is Candlelight Processional. So I'll be narrating down in Candlelight Processional at Epcot at Christmas week. So I'm down there from the 28th until January 1st.
Nice.
So I'm excited. I don't know how many years I've done it now. I started in the 90s, I think. And I am just beside myself getting to do Candlelight. It's just such a wonderful, wonderful holiday celebration to do. And we try to go as a family. And I love it. And it's so funny because I don't sing in it. You just narrate. But of course, I know the show so well after all these years that I sing every single song. But I think they turned my microphone off.
Oh, God.
I think they turn it off. Because I know all the parts, too.
I bet.
I know all the parts to the Hallelujah chorus. So I kind of switch it off, whether I'm going to do soprano or alto or whatever. But I can see the sound guy back there. And I know he's turned me off, because I'm not part of the choir. But I'm like... But anyways, I sing the whole time.
Oh, wow.
That's I sing
wonderful.
The whole show.
No kidding.
It's really fun. It's really fun. It's been kind of a tradition for many, many years. And I'm always thrilled when they invite me back. So, because you never know. You never know. The phone might not ring that year. So you just kind of grateful when it does, grateful when I do get to do those things. And then if it doesn't one day, I'll just say, you know what? It's been a great run.
Yeah.
It really
Amen.
has.
That's pretty much my philosophy in a nutshell. Yeah.
Yeah. Very thankful. Very, very thankful. So
knock on wood. So
before we go, Chris, should we play a game of voice swap just quickly?
Yes, voice swap. Do you know this game, Jody?
No.
Explain away.
I'm going to move. The sun is setting, so I'm just going to move my little. Sorry.
There we go.
The sun is setting right into my eyes. I'm looking out at the lake. It's a beautiful, beautiful day. Okay, tell me about voice swap. What is this?
Okay, so Jim will go and give a line from one of his iconic characters, and then you will voice that same line, but in the voice of one of your characters, and then vice versa.
Okay.
So, for example, Jim will give "Stay sweet as honey" as Winnie the Pooh, and then you'll say the same thing, but as Ariel or Barbie, or et cetera, et cetera. And then we'll go back and forth.
I'll do my best.
All right.
Okay, so I think I should be Triton. Is that a little too on the nose?
No.
All right.
You do whatever you want.
Okay. All right. So here's the line. Ariel, there will be no singing in my kingdom.
Ariel, there will be no singing in my kingdom.
Oh, that just doesn't sound right coming from you.
I know, it's like you're looking in the mirror, like talking yourself down. Don't do it, Ariel.
Should we get King Triton singing Part of Your World?
Probably not. Part of your world. There.
I feel like, Jody, you sing Part of Your World, and we'll get Jim to sing it as Winnie the Pooh.
Okay.
Wait, excuse me. Just what is a thingamabob? I don't care how many you have. What is one?
Okay, so I got to do Part of Your World, and he gets to do it as Pooh?
Yes.
Okay.
Okie doke.
Part of your world.
Oh, yeah, thanks. I could follow that. Part of... That's too high.
You can go lower. You can go lower.
Part of your world is filled with honey.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Oh, good old Pooh.
I love Pooh.
Well, good.
My take-home outfit from the
Yes.
hospital of our son,
Oh.
McKinley, when he was born, is a little Winnie the Pooh outfit.
Oh,
So he had a little Winnie Pooh, a little onesie, a little, what do you call those? Little burp
Bib.
cloth. Bib, thank
Bib.
you. A bib, a matching
I
little
think it's
burp
called a thingamabob.
thingamabob.
Yeah.
And then a little baby cap with baby little Pooh ears on top of it.
I've
And that's how we
seen it.
brought him home from the hospital.
Oh, my
and his
gosh.
entire crib was Winnie the Pooh.
Oh, well, that's just as sweet as honey.
Isn't that sweet?
And I know he's going to be the best little bouncer ever. And if you need Uncle Tigger to come over there and give him bouncing lessons, it's a done deal.
But I love that. I still have it. It's all clean. It's packed away, ready for
Yeah.
my grandbaby one day.
Right, one day.
Hopefully.
Yeah, we'll see.
Don't put too much pressure.
No pressure.
Yeah.
No pressure.
No pressure
Kids,
at all.
If my kids are watching or listening, no pressure.
That's right. That's right. It's got to be organic. Or is it organic? Yes. Anyway, you get the idea.
You get the idea.
Oh, Jody, thank you so
Thank you.
very
Well,
much.
It only took us 3 years or so
Yeah.
to make this happen.
Yeah,
and,
Chris is clapping.
Between your schedule and my schedule, I'm so thankful that it finally worked out. We had a few little technical difficulties, but we made it work.
Yes,
It's all good.
it is.
and,
It is.
Yeah. And
Thank
I'm
you,
sure
my
I'll be
dear.
seeing you very soon.
Yes, I'll be the guy who looks like me, unfortunately. So, but we'll see that.
One of our cities, well, I'll definitely see you at Richard's memorial service.
Yeah.
So that'll be
That's
special.
awesome.
That'll
Yeah.
be special. But thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.
I had so much fun.
All right, Christopher's going to take us home.
Well, thanks for being here, Jody. That was a very interesting conversation, and thank you all for watching. That was another episode of Toon'd with Jim Cummings, and we want to thank you all so much because we have now passed 100,000 subscribers on YouTube. So thank you all for supporting the show. It couldn't happen without you. Seriously, it really couldn't happen without you.
Amen.
And a bonus thanks to all of our patrons on Patreon. If you don't know, you can find bonus content on Patreon, including early access to these episodes. There's some deep dives on there. So go check us out on Patreon as well. And of course, you can find this podcast wherever you listen to your podcasts. And we especially appreciate you guys watching on YouTube. Until the next one, today has been Jodi Benson. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank
As
you so
always,
much for
Brendan
having
Dando
me.
and Jim Cummings. We'll see you in the next one. Thank you.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye. Thank you.